Hello again. What I'd like to talk about today is this amazing picture book written by Jackie French and illustrated by New Zealand artist Nina Rycroft. The two of them worked together on this book, and that's often uncommon. Because we have Jackie French's papers and her manuscripts, we have all the interaction between the two of them as they were deciding what to put in the illustrations and what the words could do, because sometimes you might leave a word out and you might use the illustration to tell that word. So this was a very advantageous relationship between the two of them. So what I'm going to do is to go through and show you some of the very special aspects of this book. So for example, this is the manuscript that was written by Jackie French. You'll see that that's in blue, her story and her lines, and underneath in green, Nina Rycroft is beginning to say, but what about maybe I could add that in the illustration and you don't have to use the words. And then down one side of the paper, Nina is beginning to use pencil sketches. And so they're able to actually exchange ideas, even though one is in Canberra or in the countryside, and the other one is in New Zealand. So fortunately, we have the opportunity to exchange ideas quickly through the internet, and also to show how things might change. So this is one example. Another example is a similar kind of thing. They're moving on, so there's about 6 different manuscripts. So no picture book is ever done on the first take. It's always a matter of getting the words just right, and each one just the right choice. So between the two of them, and also with the work of their editor, Lisa Berriman from HarperCollins, they were able to produce a picture book that works. This is what we call a storyboard. And when I'm talking to graphic design students or publication design, we'll talk about the value of laying all of the artwork out on a single sheet, like this, an A3 sheet. And the reason is that you can see whether the continuity is missing, where the major action of the book should take place, whether there's enough drama on particular pages, how each page relates to the one that's coming up. So a storyboard is a really important way of getting the progression of the story just right. Now, most illustrators are going to go through a range of illustrations to get exactly what they want. So these are little, highly detailed, when you look at them, illustrations that Nina Rycroft has done. Now, because we are an archive as well as a collection center, we have to take special care of pencil, which smudges, as we all know. So this is a particular way of housing it. This is called glassine, and that protects the artwork. So even though we're probably the only people that are going to see this, or if we have it on exhibition or we're showing it to students, this is such an important part of the whole process. So these are the original little pencil sketches. Now, the reason why this book is such an unusual book is because it's told on multi-levels. It really is designed for children from, like, I don't know, 8 months up to about 3 years. The story is very simple. A mother and a child are in the kitchen, and this illustration here shows the mother and the child, and the little child says, I want cheese. And the mother realizes there is no cheese, and she said, oh, but the dinosaur ate the cheese. So in the child's imagination, there is the dinosaur, and throughout the book, the dinosaur appears, but only to the child and not to the mother. So this is actually quite sophisticated thinking. Now, also, they wanted to have a bit of fun with layering the story. So they've done that by looking at some references to famous movies. Now, this one is from a movie called Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise lowering himself, I believe it was an art museum, to steal something, I think. And that is actually the reference that they were using for this particular artwork, where it's the dinosaur that's being lowered by the string. So I mean, it's very clever, isn't it? It's really not just for little kids. And who are picture books for? They're really for the kids, but who's reading them to the children? The parents, the caregivers, dad, mom, and they're going to enjoy the references to Mission Impossible. Now, there's also some other wonderful references too. For example, the book has a reference to Abbey Road, and here's the picture reference that Nina Rycroft used to create this idea. And here's another one that she used, and she's just getting ideas here. But if you look at this one, you can see that there is also the dinosaur that's being overlaid in that illustration. And then when you look at the book itself, they turn into zebras. I mean, and you think, oh, but I've not seen anybody that hasn't immediately said, that's Abbey Road, because they remember the striped crossing. And so this is a way that authors and illustrators can add a layer of stories and a layer of fun. But you'd never know this. You'd never know all these picture references if we didn't have them in a center like ours. So our goal is to share the creative process and to make sure that this is safeguarded for the future for anyone who's interested. Another reference was to King Kong, and again, as soon as I show this to any students or any young people or any adults, they say, oh, that's from King Kong. And again, she used a picture reference, obviously downloaded from the web. It looks like this. And just to get the details of the gorilla just right, more illustrations downloaded probably from the web. But you see, you would never see this kind of material if there wasn't some center like ours collecting it. So what we're doing is generating ideas for future writers and illustrators and publishers and book designers. We're documenting this for children, for adults, because children's books really live on in our memories more than the other books that we read as adults. And what we're trying to do is to say these books are part of your cultural heritage and they should be shared.